Everyone have read it. If a random bloke came up to you in the street and genuinely complimented you without any sexual undertones and walked away, how would you take it? For most people, me included, I would think about it for days and it would be a huge ego boost. But for really good looking people, it's just another day. I had an ex-girlfriend in my early 20s, she was absolutely gorgeous. We were in a bakery line to get some breads, a lady in her 50s very politely approached us and complimented my GF, saying she was the most beautiful woman she had ever seen. She politely said thanks, but I noticed she was kinda unfazed by it. She was not being rude, she was a nice person, I guess she was just used to it. I take it well and thank them. I sometimes get approached with a compliment or complimented in passing. Busking musician people seem to like my music. I've also approached people to give them a genuine compliment, or complimented them in passing, and most people react nicely and only few do not. I think it'd be a bit weird to go out of your way to approach someone just to give a compliment and leave, but if you're intending to have a little chat with the other person if they're down for it after the compliment, then I see nothing wrong. I would strongly encourage you to not do this. Attractive women get this bullshit all the time. The problem is that, most of them know that their beauty is fleeting and that it is simply a matter of winning a genetic lottery within a very narrow set of criteria. Something that has little to do with any effort on their part. If you really want to change people's lives, start interacting with people and notice their true selves. Start complimenting the parts of them that make them unique. It is much harder. Must be on drugs where I live. I'm not offended, but these types of encounters are exceedingly rare, and when they occur, there is usually something going on. Not necessarily in a bad way, though. For example, a long time ago a random guy, seemingly all sober, appeared and asked if he could empty my bike tires. I politely refused, questioning how I was gonna get back home if my tires were flat. The guy just shook my hand and walked away. Yes, I looked around just in case it was not some hidden camera prank. I get compliments usually about my blue mohawk or stretched ears, but I will say, yesterday at a farmer's market, my 60-year-old mother got way more compliments about her pink hair, than I did with my blue. Usually from older women who love that she's a bit out of the ordinary and we're in release TX. Just sort of smile, say thanks and find something of theirs you can say something positive about. Conversation rules the nation. Someone did this to me once. An older bloke who told me I have beautiful eyes. I thanked him, he paid for his coffee and got on his day. Didn't do anything, nothing creepy at all. It was so nice. I don't have the guts to go up to strangers to do that, but I sometimes will compliment people for their style, personality, etc. after striking up a conversation, even if I have no interest in them romantically. I wear my wedding ring anyway. Probably flattered, but as a woman, a little skeptical if I'm being honest. The fact of the matter is, people usually aren't nice without a reason. If the guy genuinely walked away and I didn't see hide nor hair of him afterwards, then flattered. Would probably text my friends being like, this just happened. If I saw him looking at me later on, very, very concerned. But yeah, very flattered. Thank him and compliment him back, assuming I managed before he walked away, of course. I've absolutely wanted to do this before myself. Every once in a while you see just a very pretty woman, or a guy with gorgeous hair, or an older lady who has amazing dress that fit her style perfectly. But I never end up complimenting, cause social anxiety the fact that I'm a little less pretty. I was at a festival a few weeks back, standing off-site waiting for my friends who were at the toilets. A dude came up to me and randomly complimented my hair. I really like the color of your hair and it goes well with the color of your hat. I sheepishly thanked him and he strode off. Not sure if he was flirting, being drunk, or just spreading joy. It was weird but nice. When I lived in SoCal, people would come up to my girlfriend or I and compliment. Then they would steer it into a conversation about how they retired early with the help of some mentor. We were in our late 20s and they were all similar age. So now if we ever get compliments, we always question how genuine they are or if it's just more people trying to run that scam. I was walking by at school and this guy told me that I was wearing a very pretty dress. Of course I thanked him, but I definitely loved it. I remember 7 years ago, I was wearing this other dress and walking into a Starbucks and this guy told me that I'm totally rocking the dress I was wearing. When I feel like crap sometimes, I think about these moments fondly. I would probably giggle because I'm a nervous giggler person, which I fucking hate tbh. I'd say thank you and it would probably brighten my day. One of the perfumes I wear sometimes gets a lot of comments from men wanting to know what it is, and I don't mind. I always thank them and give them the name. We know when you're being a perv and when you're not. I actually had this happen once and it was truly flattering. I was walking to my car at the gas station and a guy pumping gas looked me in the eyes, said, "Wow, you are beautiful," and went back to pumping his gas. No follow-up, no leering, just a polite respectful comment. If I had been single I probably would have gone and asked for his number. I'm a large guy. I would thank them, but in my mind, my low self-esteem would be trying to figure out how it was really a rip on me for being fat. It's how it works with low self-esteem, but being raised to thank people who compliment you. You don't question it anywhere but in your head, then you waste time and energy trying to figure it out. I'd be flattered and honestly probably feel more confident for a good long while. But I'd also remind them that a man complimenting the wrong man in any way could actually bring them to a world of hurt or getting killed. Some people are fucking lunatics, and when their masculinity is questioned or threatened they become very unpredictable. A friend I have got really into seduction subculture, and this was kinda the stuff he told me he did: practice giving compliments freely to strangers without wanting anything in return. Like a practice run for when he sees a woman he wants to bang. I would assume it might be that, or he is a friend pickpocketing me while distracted. Years back, two people were chatting with each other and passed me on the sidewalk. One of them said to me, "Wow, you have great skin." Looking at what I wrote, I imagine it sounds creepy in the way of it puts the lotion on the skin, but it really wasn't. It was genuine and such a boost, and I still think about it to this day. I would say thank you, then probably cry a little bit. As a woman of a certain age, I have become invisible. I was pretty once, so I am no stranger to men being inappropriate. In a way it gives you a sense of freedom being invisible, but to have a sincere compliment from a well-meaning stranger would give me great joy. My late wife was wonderful for that. She would freely give compliments with absolute sincerity. People always lit up and you could see their post-compliment delight. I try to emulate her goodness as well, but I am nowhere near as filled with love as she was. I would be thrilled to have someone do that for me. Personally, I would just assume that he does that to everyone and not think twice. However, a drunk worker at a resort we stayed at last month told me that he liked my huge titties while he was talking with myself and my husband. Hubby got pissed, but I was glowing. Drunk or not, it was still a compliment. It would really depend what the compliment was about. If he was complimenting my style or something nice I had done, that I would appreciate that. If it was some sort of compliment about an area of my body or how pretty I was, he has no reason to say that to me, besides hoping to get a sexual opening. As a guy, if another guy says it, then I would say thanks and walk away, then wonder if there is something weird on whatever thing they complimented me on. If a woman compliments me, then it might be some kind of sign, but I won't exactly pursue it unless we're in the same situation for some time at least. As a man, I'd be absolutely flattered, thank him and think back on it for the next few months. I get compliments so rarely, they are worth remembering. Last compliment I got was over a year ago from a girl in my uni classes. She said she liked my new haircut. See, I still remember that shit. This happened to me. I was walking in a rush to catch my train and this guy out of nowhere said, "Nice mustache, dude," and my first thought was, do I have booger stuck on my mustache? I checked, and I didn't. But by then I was a street away. This was weeks ago and I still think about it. The best compliment I ever received was from a random person. I was jogging and a man from across the street said, "If you are running to look better, then you can quit." He is forever in my memory. I really enjoyed that random compliment. It didn't feel overly sexual. It felt genuine. This happened to me. The random bloke obviously also had Down syndrome, so it was actually my most treasured compliment ever. It was about 40 years ago and I was not feeling overly attractive. I was having a bad hair day and a babe hair life. I still get warm fuzzies thinking about it. One time a few years ago I was out with my girlfriend at the time. An obviously gay guy came up to us and asked my GF if I was her boyfriend. She said yes. And he, looking me up and down slowly, said that's a shame and just walked off. Still feel flattered to this day years later. As an autistic person who's not so good at being approached by anyone ever, I think it'd disrupt me a little and stress me out. I feel pressure to make eye contact and smile, but I would probably think back on it fondly after processing the information on my own in my own space. Female here, I've had a bloke or two compliment me before. Hard to say for certain if there was a complete absence of sexual undertones, but I took it as a nice compliment that made my day. Short of actually propositioning me or something, I'm freaking oblivious anyway. I'd probably experience a blue screen of death, take 20 seconds to reboot, verify I'm still perceiving the real world instead of daydreaming, then shuffle off thinking whether they were sexual undertones or some joke that I'm not supposed to understand. A woman, I've actually had this happen a big, Lumberjack looking dude bellowed, "Those are great shoes," at me from across the street. I yelled thank you back and went on my way, my day having been significantly brightened. That guy rules. I'd say thanks. It depends on the situation and where I'm at. If I'm alone in a parking lot, I would then rush to my car and lock my doors just in case. If I'm in a more public place, I would check and be aware, but not as worried. Check out Troy Hawk. I saw him on YouTube. He doles out compliments to people out and about on the high streets in UK. Just stuff about their clothes or their hair or whatever, nothing sexual. Unbelievable the effect it has. Happened to me. Random dude complimented my necktie and kept walking. I immediately ordered several more of the same style in various colors, and I think about that compliment at least once a week. This happened 12 years ago. I'd appreciate it a lot. I work in retail where I'm allowed to wear my own clothes. Having a customer compliment my outfit means more to me than anyone I know personally, because the stranger has no stakes in complimenting me. This actually happened to me a while ago. A guy was passing and said I had a pretty face and kept walking. It was a bit strange because it usually after a compliment they would ask if I'm single, but it was nice. I was at a club in the bathroom fixing my hair in the mirror after taking my hat off. Guy next to me said, "You look great bro," and walked away. I was beaming and still think about it to this day. It happened to me a few weeks ago. I was wearing a shirt with oranges on it from Target. Some dude was like, "Nice shirt." How did I take it? I'm still talking about it. It was such an ego boost.